Welcome back, everyone. This is Toe to Toe Boxing Talk with your man James, of course, and let's get right into it. Now, I want to talk about Xander Zayas. The kid got it done. This past Saturday night, Xander scored a unanimous decision victory over Jorge Garcia Lopez to capture the vacant WBO Super Welterweight Championship of the world. His first world title at the age of 22. But not only that, he headlined a fight card that featured Bruce Carrington, a New York native, and Emiliano Vargas, two of the best young fighters in the game today, in MSG. Which the crowd was 80 to 85% Puerto Rican. So it showed the amount of pressure that Xander had to capture his first world title. And Xander lived up to the hype. He boxed beautifully. He had great lateral movement, which created space for him to utilize his jab and land combinations off of his jab. He disrupted Jorge Garcia's rhythm by smothering his punches and frustrated him the whole night. Garcia Lopez was a stationary target for Xander's combinations. There was times where I thought that Xander could have pressed the action a little bit more. The shots that he was landing, I felt that he had Garcia Lopez out. But credit to Garcia Lopez, he's an awkward fighter, and I understand why Xander was reluctant to engage with him at times. But all in all, I thought it was a good performance. What more can I say about Xander, man? I think he's a good fighter. The sky is the limit for this kid. He possessed great poise, great composure, because most young fighters in that situation, on that stage, would have overcommitted, would have done too much, which would have led to them probably running into some shots. Xander kept his composure, which says a lot about him and his character. See, Xander, every time he speaks, he conducts himself like a true champion. He's mature beyond his age, beyond his years, and he has that it factor. He has that star quality. Whatever it is, he has it. I see nothing but good things for this kid. I think he has the right team around him. He has a good foundation, and he's humble. That's all you want. You want your fighter to be humble and to have a good head on his shoulders, which I think Xander does. I think Xander is only going to get better. He's been getting better since day one. He has the goods. I think he has what it takes to become that next Puerto Rican superstar. He has what it takes to take the baton from Miguel Cotto. He has it. He has it. And to whom much is given, much is required. And now that Xander is a world champion, not only a world champion, but a Puerto Rican champion, he has a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of responsibility that goes with that. And I don't want to put that much pressure on him because he seems like a good kid. But in order for him to carve his name with the likes of a Carlos Ortiz, a Jose Torres, a Wilfred Benitez, who I think is the greatest Puerto Rican fighter ever, a Wilfredo Gomez, a Felix Tito Trinidad, a Hector Camacho, a Miguel Cotto, a Ivan Calderon, Xander would have to definitely put in that work, which I think he will, and do something extraordinary to carve his name out with the likes of those legends. I think with his mindset, I think he wants the big fights. Of course, he wants the fights with Fundora. He wants the fights with Virgil Ortiz. He wants the fights with Boots Ennis, which is great. But I think that's a little bit premature. I think Top Rank is going to move him along gradually as a champion. They want him to establish a strong fan base first, like they did with Miguel Cotto, and all their other champions. I think you have to establish that fan base with this kid. He's only 22 years old. You don't want to rush him and feed him to the wolves just yet. You don't want to do what Fernando Vargas' team did to him back in the days. Fernando Vargas was a young, strong champion at the age of 21, 22 years old. Beat Winky Wright, Yuri Boy Campos, and when he faced Tito Trinidad was arguably like top 3 best pound for pound fighters in the world at that time. And he caught a beating. Like he definitely sustained punishment that night that I don't think he ever recovered from. And he was only 22 years old. So you don't want to damage the psyche of this kid. You want him to gradually gain confidence and gain experience. That was his first 12-round fight. So he was pacing himself. And he did slow down a little bit the last 3 rounds and all that. He wasn't throwing as many punches. But he's only going to get better. And if you move him gradually, you're going to see the greatness of this kid. Because I'm telling you, he has the sharp mind. He articulates himself very well. And you can tell he works extremely hard, man. He works extremely hard. Every fight of his is crazy. Every fight of his doesn't look the same. He does something different every fight. And the sky's the limit. I think it is premature to put him against the other champions and other known contenders like Ennis and Ortiz. But I think eventually those fights are going to come to play because 154 is a stacked division. 154 is a stacked division. And this kid, I see him possibly the next year or so moving up to middleweight. He's a tall kid. His body frame, I think he's going to grow out of 154. But I see him doing that in like a year or 2 from now. But Xander, much props to Xander and his team. He gave a good performance, a good showing of himself in front of a raucous, huge Puerto Rican crowd at MSG. His first main event, big time event at MSG for a world title, the first of many. I think that he's the next thing. I think he's the next great thing in Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico has been yearning for a Puerto Rican superstar since Miguel Cotto retired. Puerto Rico has been begging for a Puerto Rican superstar. And I think Xander Zayas is that Puerto Rican superstar. Everything goes well. He builds that confidence, establishes that fan base, and wins the big fights like his Puerto Rican predecessors did. Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking about this kid for years to come. And it's only going to get better from there. But you let me know what you think. If you like what you saw, please subscribe, like, and comment. Until next time, this is Toe to Toe Boxing Talk with your man James, signing